This is the second anniversary of the release of the UNC Center for Civil Rights, Unless Our Children Begin to Learn Together, the State of Education in Halifax County. And you probably say, well, if you've already released it, why are you having a press conference about it? Well, we're having a press conference about the fact that it's been out there for 2 years and the fact that nothing has been done, basically. Even though we have called on the 3 school boards, we have called on the county commissioners, and yet nothing has been done. So 2 years and 1 month ago, the University of North Carolina's Center for Civil Rights released its study. And they did it right here on the grounds. That's when we learned our lesson that you don't do it over in front of the main entrance. If you take a look over there, you can see how the sun is shining over there. We found the shade trees finally, okay? The report documented what we who live here already knew, namely that the most significant impediment to genuine educational reform and progress in our county is the enduring manifestation of Jim Crow segregation inherent in the 3 separate and unequal public school systems that we have in Halifax County. The report's authors, who are with us today, call for the merger of the 3 systems as necessary but not exclusive step towards remedying the adverse impacts of stark racial and socioeconomic isolation of the students in Halifax County. Some of you may remember the reactions. If you don't, those of you who didn't, and those of you who were not here, let me tell you what kind of reaction we got. Some of us cheered, just like we just did, and we often cheer and hold up the report, that a new authentic light was shining on a decade problem. Many of us here today took hope that the reality of racism in our schools in Halifax County might finally be confronted. But other powerful voices soon denounced the study. It wasn't true, they said. These, quote, outsiders, Mark, you should be ashamed of yourself. They got it all wrong. And Roanoke Rapids Graded School District and Weldon City School District hired attorneys and spent thousands of education dollars to deny the county's history today and to deny the realities and define the status quo. But they can't explain why some black children who live within Roanoke Rapids municipal limits can't go to Roanoke Rapids Graded School District, while some white children who live outside of Roanoke Rapids municipal boundaries are able to. They ignored the continuing harm caused by deeply entrenched patterns of racial segregation and focused on discrediting the report. Rather than embracing this chance to improve academic opportunities for all children in Halifax County, those who objected to the truth chose to deny it. And instead of seeking to end a divided educational system, they chose to maintain one that hurts our children and stunts the economic viability of this region.
What can I do at my age? But in reference to this report, when I read it, I get upset. I really do. Because here we are in the 21st century, and we're still having meetings and anniversaries on this report. Something is wrong, real wrong. We have 3 school systems in 1 county. But yet everybody would tell you that education is important. Everybody would tell you that they will put children first. But then I have a problem, because change is coming. Either we make the change, or someone in Raleigh is going to make the change. Now we can be in front, or we can be behind. And I think, once we look at the enrollment, people are not having kids. My generation, the average household was, 9 children? Around 9 children. This day and time, we're lucky to have 1. Because it costs too much, and we don't have kids to work on the farm anymore. We don't need all these children. And guess what? That's showing up in the school system. Because we have more schools than we have students. And we're gonna have to look at that because every school costs. And as you know, like Mr. Grant said, Halifax County, we do not get any supplemental tax money. But if you think about it, if the systems that aren't getting the supplemental tax, then they should be way ahead of Halifax County, I would think. Because we have to do more with less. And I think Halifax County has done an extremely well job in keeping out of the red and staying in the black. Because we have to do more with less.
To be here, it is a joyous occasion, Dr. Hunter, because I know that next year things will be quite different. The civil rights community, as history has taught us, does not wait around for change. We make change happen. And what I'm here to address for a few minutes is the damage that's being done to these children and to our society, in the county, in the state, and ultimately in the world, because you, Traquan, will join your classmates to lead this country, this county, this state, and we need you to be the very best that you can be, and we need to not miss you. We need to not leave you in the classroom, in the back of a classroom where kids are cutting up, teachers don't feel in control, teachers don't feel supported, staff don't feel supported. It's not something that we're going to wait around for. The damage that's being done by the separation of students by race and class in the classroom, and the separation of whole communities from resources to which they have a constitutional right to share, and to share equally, is the damage that is happening here in Halifax County. And we know that that separation hurts white students just as much as it hurts black students. And we know this because we look at the disparities that exist in our society today, in housing, in jobs, in the criminal justice system, where we lock up an inordinate number of black boys and black men. And we lock them up, we know from social science research and psychological studies that have been done and confirmed over and over again, that the uncomfortable nature of interactions between people who are not used to sitting next to each other in a classroom, not used to debating each other in the classroom and in the debate teams, not used to being on the same team in sports, being on the same science lab team, working through the different experiences that they have that make their lives so rich and make our society so rich. That deprivation causes harm to the white students who will not know what it is to compete, who will not know what it is to be in a global society. The harm that's caused to the black students is the same. It is the same.
One of the activities that was held during field day was called tug of war. My classmates, a few of us, and we would try to get the larger students, the ones that had more weight, to be on our team, and then someone else, of course, another team was formed. There was a flag in the middle of the rope, and all of us were attached to the opposite ends of the rope, and there was a line drawn in the middle of the field, regardless of the color, white, black, red, yellow, green, it didn't matter. But the objective of the game was to pull the other side across the line. And one thing happened to us. I was on a team. The weight was just as strong on one end as it was the other end, and nobody was able to win the game. When I look at the three separate school systems in Halifax County Public Schools, Weldon City Schools, and Roanoke Rapids City Schools, it makes me think of tug of war. One is trying to outdo the other, or one is more popular than the other, or one is credited for this or that or the other, but we all live in the same county. The commissioners voted some time ago to have a study done. Evergreen did a study. It cost this county over $100,000. And even in Evergreen's report, they listed the strengths and weaknesses of all three school systems in this county. My question is, why can't we take the strengths of all three and unify them together?
That's right.
Within this county, for the betterment of every child, for the betterment of not only every child, but wherever they may live throughout this county. Now, if Wake County, for example, can educate over 100,000 kids with one school system, one superintendent, I know we can do it in Halifax County with less than 10,000 kids, and we're paying 3 different superintendents.
The problem, you guys have been here longer than I have, is systemic racism. That's the problem in Halifax County. It's been a problem in this county since the beginning of time. And with the current leadership and the type of people that we elected this county, it's not going to change no time soon. Unless it's only going to change when the people in this county finally decide that they want to change this county. But until the people do, believe me, it's not going to change. It's not going to change. And here we are in Halifax County, 50 years later, 59 years out the round, the landmark Brown building. I don't mean you, Tony. When I say Brown, don't get it confused. The landmark Brown versus Board of Education in 1954, 59 years later. And we are still standing here. And what I don't even call this historic Halifax. This is pathetic Halifax. And here we are standing here, still trying to get a quality education for every child in this county. Every child. I have very little respect for the people that lead this county. Very little. When I look out in this audience, I see not one county commissioner. Not one. I don't care what they're doing, what their agenda is. This was in my column the first of the month, and I know they all read it. Not one of them here. Forget about the school boards. School boards don't matter here. The county commissioners have the power to change this tomorrow. They have the power. If you think you're going to ask 3 school boards to come together, 3 school systems to come together and to make one, you got a better chance of seeing God. Okay? Ain't going to happen in Halifax County, not with these people. The school boards would never do it. But the county commissioners do not need the support of the school boards. They don't need the school boards to sign on. They make the decision, and then we move forward. Those that are on board will work to make it happen. Those that are not will just have to accept it, like we as African Americans have accepted for many, many years the things that were thrown on us.